Welcome to the Aesthetic Doctor Podcast. We don't shy away and keep secrets here. We empower you with education, telling you the truth about all things aesthetic medicine while encouraging you to be the best version of yourself. It's time to look great and feel good doing it. This is your host, mom, speaker, and board-certified physician, Dr. Judith Borger.
Hello, friends, and welcome to episode 19 of the Aesthetic Doctor Podcast. This is Dr. Borger, and happy fall or happy almost fall, depending on when you listen to this episode. A lot of you love pumpkin spice, everything, the change of the seasons, the sort of repression from the heat, even though some people might feel a little bit sad that summer's over, kids go back to school, and so on and so forth. But it's just life, the change of season, renewal, rest, everything that goes with it. As an aesthetic doctor, I absolutely love fall because fall is really busy season for us. It's laser season, and really there's all the treatments that we can suddenly get in the fall that we might not have been able to get in the spring or the summer, living in a place like North Carolina where there's a lot of sun. So today's episode, I'm going to talk about the 3 best treatments to get in the fall. And as I already said, there's really no treatment you cannot get in the fall, but there's really 3 treatments that I could think about that fall is the most perfect season for, and especially the treatments that we need some sun avoidance for, that might have a tiny bit of downtime, and that are really a great post-summer refresh for your skin. Before we dive into this episode, let me ask you a quick favor. You know that in the podcast world, ratings and reviews are like gold. If you are a listener, if you've enjoyed this podcast, and you would be so kind, head to your favorite platform that you listen it for. Of course, bonus if it's Apple, and give us 5 stars, an amazing review. I mean, obviously, if you can figure out how to get 6 stars and give them to us, I would greatly appreciate it, because really that will help other people find the podcast. And my goal is, of course, to have this podcast go from the first page of aesthetic podcasts, which it is now, right all the way onto the top. So thank you in advance. I appreciate you for listening. And we especially love those people that take the extra time to give us ratings and a review. As I said, 5 to 6 stars is what we're going for. Of course, I'm kidding. It maxes out at 5. But like I said, if you can figure out a way how to give us 6, let me know. So the 3 best treatments to get in the fall. And on top of this list is, without a doubt, IPL or intense pulsed light or a photofacial. If you've been listening to this podcast, you know that I absolutely freaking love IPLs and that I think everybody needs an IPL. So let me tell you why. A lot of my patients are now in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and beyond, but you could be younger or older. And we grew up in an era where sun avoidance was not really that much of a thing. Sunscreen was not that much of a thing, or you might have had a lifestyle that exposed you to a lot of sun. Let's say you love running and you've been running outside. You love sailing. You love golf. You love, I don't know what you love. You love what you love. Or you might have been in the military and been stationed in a place where there was a lot of sun. You've been in the desert. You have had a lifestyle that has exposed you to sun. And now you're kind of seeing that your skin is not that beautiful, flawless, even pigmentation that the skin of your children maybe is that are newborn. So you might have noticed some darker spots, some lighter spots, some sunspots, or maybe some red blotches, some little vessels. Those are all signs of photo damage or damage secondary to sun exposure over a lifetime. Interestingly enough, there's more of that below the surface that you can't even see yet, but it's there. If I was to take a picture with my Visia kind of skin analysis system, we would see that darker pigment kind of hiding there. But it's going to come out in the future. What an IPL does is it targets all the sun damage that your skin has gotten over time and destroys it. Wow, right? It's as close as a sun damage eraser as I have for pigment. So we use different hand pieces on our Nordless IPL, which is our state-of-the-art IPL laser. And then we target based on your skin type, based on what we see, the wavelength that most attracts that pigment of light, which means to say that we customize your treatment to your skin type, to your degree of sun damage, to what we see, reds, browns. I can also destroy those little veins. I can help reduce rosacea with this treatment. So IPL is really wonderful, but the reason it's amazing for fall is that we really don't want you to have any sun exposure right before or right during your treatment. Because if you have a lot of tan, there is an inherent pigment in your skin that the laser will be able to see. So it's sort of treating your sun exposure like it is treating your sun damage. So if you have no sun exposure, it allows the device to only see your sun damage. And the less sort of melanin and pigment you have in your skin, the more energy I can put in, meaning it makes your treatment more tolerable and more beneficial. So get an IPL this fall. It also stimulates collagen. It decreases the amount of aging that your skin has from the sun that's visible, and it gives you that really bright, smooth, even complexion. Most of the time when women feel the need to put on makeup, or they feel the need to put on foundation, or they feel the need to do cover-up things, it's because of pigment in their skin. So getting a series of IPLs will really help you feel confident to walk out the door with nothing on, sort of show your naked face, show the face maybe just with a tinted sunscreen. Most of you know that I only wear tinted sunscreen on the daily because I kind of like the evenness of my face. I love IPLs. I actually need to get one this fall. Yes, maybe I'll make a reel out of it when I get one. But anyway, despite sun avoidance, you all have those times where you do get sun exposure. So even though I'm trying to be religious about wearing a hat, about wearing sunscreen, about wearing a full sleeve suit, I still get, some sun exposure. I mean, I live my life. I enjoy my kids. I love the summer. So I then just kind of erase that or counteract that by getting an IPL. When we get IPLs, the standard series of IPLs is 3 treatments because we can uncover different layers of discoloration pigment over the series. And especially the browns are easier to treat than the red, and the darker browns are easier to treat than the lighter browns, yada, yada, yada. I would be happy to give you a consult in person if you're in Fayetteville. But you will see an improvement with each treatment. So definitely get an IPL this fall. It's my number one treatment to get in the fall. We generally say 3 treatments a month apart. The reason a month apart is that we give your skin a whole skin cycle of 28 days between treatments to really shed all the discoloration, renew itself, build more collagen, heal fully before we do the treatment again. There might be a little bit of downtime with an IPL because you might have a little bit of darker spots. Some people got a little bit of swelling, but because we don't actually break the skin, you can cover it up. You can wear your regular makeup. You can use your regular products. So there's not the downtime in the sense of you cannot do anything because your skin is open and raw. It's just, I would not want you to get an IPL and then have your pictures taken the next day. So we have talked about treatment number 1, absolute best treatment to get in the fall. In my mind, without a doubt, is an IPL. So get one. Number 2 is a chemical peel. A chemical peel is a way in which we kind of allow the skin to shed its outer layers. So a lot of times the outer layers of the skin are kind of the old layers, right? Like the skin regenerates itself from the inside out. So all the way on the outer surface of the skin, you have older skin. So that's skin that might be rough. That's skin that might hold the largest amount of pigmentation. That is skin that might have the pores. That is skin that, has just been around and been through some stuff for a while. That's drier, that's not as elastic. So what a chemical peel does is through the careful, even application of certain chemicals, mostly acids of a certain pH that's lower than your natural skin pH, you shed that outer layer or the outer few layers, depending on the depth of the chemical peel, over the next sort of, on average, I would say 5 to 7 days. So there's obviously a lot of different chemical peels. We carry both the Benev Smart Peels, which are kind of cool because they're entirely customizable, meaning I have about 10 different acids and there's different ways to layer them to make them safe for your skin, to maybe treat acne and pigmentation, to maybe tighten. And then we have certain peels like our Reva peel or our Enlighten peel that are prefabricated peels that come out of a bottle, and that peel is that peel. But of course, the ones that we choose are excellent, and they all have their own indications. In general, certain peels are good for acne. A lot of peels are good for some skin tightening and for some discoloration. Different peels can be used for different skin types. As always, not all skin types and all skin concerns are good for all patients. And so, this is a recurrent theme in this podcast. It's really important that wherever you go, they have a variety of tools to treat you so that not everybody just gets the same thing, because there's no such thing as the one treatment that's the best for absolutely every skin type and concern. So if somebody tries to tell you that, it's total BS. So to reiterate, the 3 best treatments to get in the fall: number 1, IPL, number 2, chemical peels, and then my number 3 on that list is a non-ablative or ablative laser. What do I mean by that? I mean lasers like a Frax, a CO2, a deep Tixel that's technically not a laser but kind of does the same thing, where we really, again, cause some physical damage in a controlled way to certain parts of the skin that then make your collagen regenerate, make the skin regenerate. And that also help with tightening, that helps with wrinkles, and overall skin rejuvenation. Why is the fall a good time for that? Even though a lot of those you can have some sun exposure before, it's really important that in the healing process, because your skin is open, that you don't get exposed to sun. And of course, in the fall, because us being in the northern hemisphere, the sun that we get is actually less strong, but on the same time, also, most of us get less sun exposure because the days are shorter, it's less warm, we're kind of, living our daily lives of school and work and running around. And we all know that in the fall, we get less sun exposure. So, and, you don't want to sweat after getting most lasers, simply because sweat opens the pores, bacteria can come on the skin, so on and so forth. So, non-ablative or ablative lasers. We love our Frax laser. Frax 1550 is a great laser that is also safe for all skin types, that can do skin rejuvenation, can tighten, can stimulate collagen, can really help with texture and fine wrinkles. Wonderful anti-aging laser. We kind of know that a lot of the technology that when only a fraction of the skin, that's why it's called Frax, gets sort of asked to regenerate versus completely ablating it, your results are better just because the skin can handle the healing process and you're not overwhelming it. Years and years of research has kind of shown that a fractional controlled destruction of certain layers of the dermis and the epidermis is the best way to ask the skin to actually regenerate itself. So we love the fracs. Definitely wonderful if you have texture issues, fine lines and wrinkles, scarring. And that's why the fracs rounds out my number 3 list. Again, to say most of these are done in a series of 3, just because we know that with repeated controlled treatments, you really get a cumulative benefit. And so again, 3 best treatments to get in the fall. Number 1, IPL. Number 2, chemical peels. And number 3, any of the non-ablative or ablative laser. I just want to give an honorable mention, even though it didn't make the list, to laser hair removal. And again, why? You've just spent all summer shaving. You're probably like, I don't want to do this for next year. So this fall is a great time to start your laser hair removal treatments so that way you can be done with the series by the next year you're trying to be in a bathing suit or wear shorts or whatever. And again, we don't want the skin to have sun exposure mostly before or during a treatment series, to avoid hyperpigmentation, to be able to really target the hair follicle the most effective way, and to essentially give you the best results. So if you've ever considered laser hair removal, I would argue that the fall is the best time to get laser hair removal. So in short, enjoy fall. Get those treatments, those IPLs, those chemical peels, those non-ablative or ablative laser, that laser hair removal. Really, fall is laser season. I love laser season. And I think this episode really tells you why laser season is in the fall, because due to the decreased exposure that most of us get in the fall, it's really a great time to add some energy-based devices to your routine if you've ever considered it. This is episode 19. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you soon for episode 20. Bye-bye now.
Thank you for listening to the Aesthetic Doctor Podcast with Dr. Judith Borger. We'd love to connect with you outside of the show. Follow Dr. Borger on Instagram at Dr. Borger, and find more online and ways to work with Dr. Borger at www.theaestheticdoctor.com. Until next time, be well.